Welcome everyone who's here. My name is Mapalo Msonda. For those of you who know me on TikTok, you know me as Dread Vader. And with me, I have John Zimba, one of the legends in the graphic design game. He has been operating for how long, bro? Like,
Hmm. I think it should be over 12, 13 years.
woo,
But nalireko kupenda kaili newo retired chanine.
takuwa vokuleka boss.
Mani takwabo kuleka. Yaba batini
Umeshaenda.
drag.
No,
Yaba
once
batini
once that
drag.
once
Takwabo
once
kuleka.
once creativity kisses you ni chapwa ni for life.
Because sometimes I ask myself, okay, if my business yafika parevo hapa kwewati, we can afford a designer who can actually do the kind of things that I'm currently doing for my business and whatnot. I always ask myself this question. Then what? Like in Karachi Tench.
That's in Karachi. You'll be on a yacht.
Yeah, but there are other important things that I can be
Yeah.
doing. It's just
Anyway.
that it's not something that I'm willing to let go yet. So for now, I'm still a designer, but just designing for one company.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yes, John Zimba has been in the industry for about 13 years, and he is here to just help me uncover a little bit behind what ways we can figure out how to help the Zambian movie industry. Now, to just give you a recap for a few people who may not be fully like who may have not followed the conversation, it all started a few days ago when I made a video where I spoke about how I believe that piracy is one way, is probably the best way from my perspective that we can begin to help the Zambian movie industry, because we have a visibility, awareness, and we have an audience problem in our industry. And I believe that piracy solves that problem by bringing more eyeballs to the product so that we can actually begin to create the crowd that will be interested to eventually start paying for these things. Because currently, we have a lot of talent, we have a lot of people who are creative, but unfortunately, we don't have enough people interested enough to pay for what these talented people are doing. And so we're trying to figure it out. So John is coming at it from a different perspective. Would you like to just, give a bit of a background on your side?
So for me, when I came across your video, I think my main interest was concerning like I was looking at this from a business point of view, like how can we what's the word? Um, Create more like momentum for Zambian movies and whatnot, but at the same time, the people are actually putting their money in this production, like who are spending money to produce movies and whatnot, actors and everything. How can they still benefit in as much as we want to create momentum and whatnot? So for me, I wouldn't even call it an argument because I think at this point we're just sharing ideas, right? So
Yeah.
I was looking at it like, okay, if we're saying that we need, like maybe as you have put it, like use the Pirates as a strategy, like Pirates as a growth strategy. For me, my question is, um, at what point then do we make money as an industry, right? So right now we are speaking as if we are in the movie industry, because at the end of the day we are all creatives and whatnot. So um, basically my argument, and I gave a quite number of examples, like if we're going to say no, people in Zambia are not interested in Zambian movies and whatnot, in as much as someone doesn't even like have DSTV, but like a good number of people out there, they know about Impadi.
Mm-hmm.
If they haven't watched an episode, at least they know the actors and whatnot. And my question is, how did that happen? Because if it's about making the content free,
Mm-hmm.
yet DSTV is charging people, in order for them to access this content. And a good number of people still know about Impadi, there's Zuba, and other local movies and whatnot, right? So, also, I gave an example in my post. I gave an example about Super Story, right? A good number of us once watched Super Story at some point. And if I'm being honest, back then there was nothing like, no, I'm going to watch it on YouTube. Or someone will give me kaflashi, what. If I'm being honest, we are just watching that movie or series just on one channel, which was ZNBC, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like for this thing to work, or for people, the local people to start buying into the idea of local movies and whatnot, I don't necessarily think it's about making the movies available for free. But I just feel like we need to have a proper strategy in place, especially where distribution is concerned. And I remember in my post, I mentioned something like it's very difficult to grow an industry where everyone is a boss. And what I mean by this, when we look at even like the creative, like when we look at designers, for example, there are no rules in terms of how we charge, how we do things, how to treat clients, at what point do you do X, Y, Z, and whatnot.
I agree. And actually, before you move on to that other point, there's something you pointed out that actually, like, I would like to just speak on a little bit. You mentioned a Super Story.
Yes.
And how we all watched it on ZNBC. What came to mind as you were saying that was, how come we don't have a pipeline where Black Dollar ends up on ZNBC the same way we are watching movies and TV shows from outside the country? Because let's forget piracy. ZNBC is a state company who benefit greatly from having local content showcased on the channel. So I'm now beginning to wonder, why don't we have that yet?
I think it goes back to the conversation we had before this live. Trying it to, like, there are so many people, which goes back to my point, like, we can't build an industry where everyone wants to act, where everyone is a boss. So you find that even like the issue of Black Dollar, right?
Yeah.
I remember David and his team at some point, they built a system or a streaming platform that was like Netflix and whatnot. Actually, that's how I managed to watch the movie on the same platform, but it's no longer there. It seems like it didn't work out. So for me, I feel like if we can have a structure, like at what point should we maybe produce new movies? What like maybe we come up with like a specific month every year. I feel like that can work. Like maybe we know that, for example, the same way we know that every year in September, Chakuti, Dea Chakuti, Apple Vamachosa iPhone yanyu, you know what I mean? So it's predictable. Even the person who can't afford an iPhone, like the latest iPhone, but at least they can start saving up because they know that there's a new iPhone coming out in September. So I feel like even like when we talk of movie industry in Zambia, they should sound like some sort of prediction. Like people should know, like, okay, every year there's a movie that comes out, let's say in December, a Zambian movie, right?
Yeah.
Because that way now, even if you don't want to watch, it creates momentum, it creates demand. You find that even the person who is not interested in Zuba, the fact that it comes every week, Kuzambezi Magic, na muntu wamene safuna otamba, at some point you'll be interested. Nanga everyone's bamene bakambati Zuba. You're interested now. You want to see the movie and whatnot. So I just feel like we need to agree as an industry, like how many movies can we produce in a year. Also, this thing of using cinema as a distribution channel, it doesn't work. It works for an industry that is already established, but for the Zambian industry, I don't think it works. And the reason why I'm saying it doesn't work, it's the fact that cinemas, there's like, it's time bound when it comes to movies. There's a time frame. Okay, in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks, Tizambo Tambisa Black Panther are new. But after that, it's out of fashion. You know what I mean? So how do you now build momentum when you have a limited time frame to advertise your product? Because there is no cinema that can agree that, okay, Tizambo Tambisa Black Dollar the whole year. At some point, it will become boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need, it's either a platform where anytime I feel like watching a Zambian movie, I can just go to the platform, watch the movie and whatnot. Like I said, when we spoke on phone this afternoon, I mentioned something like, if I'm being honest, I don't think the Zambian industry, we are ready to produce movies. Maybe we can focus on my series. And the reason why I'm saying my series, because when we look back, even like my movies that have made noise in this country, Kabanana, it was a series.
Yeah.
Love Games, it was a series.
Yeah.
Banja, it was a series. Zuba, ni series. Mpadi, ni series.
So if I could
not like movies, you know what I mean? Where you just sit for an hour,
if
you
I
watch
could actually jump in just there.
Yes, so it's like even if tunaikonke kufesti, at some point the fact that like Mbapo every day, you now start watching because now everyone is talking about it.
Yes. Now I wanted to actually touch on why series succeed more than movies in Zambia.
Right.
And that is the effect of repetition. Series, you're seeing something every week, which is why, again, movies struggle because you get that event once a year. Depending on what happens to your pocket at that time when the movie comes out, whether you are preparing for it or not, vikavuta vintu and you've spent the money, you're missing out on the movie. But the thing about TV shows is because you're seeing them every week, you're seeing this thing happen every week. Even I, a person who has never owned a decoder in my life, I knew about Zuba, and when the final season was announced, I was like, wow, I would actually like to check out the previous seasons, like everybody did for Game of Thrones. Like that's where, in fact, that's where my thought came from. It was, there was a point when Game of Thrones announced the final season, everybody, or as many people as were aware at the time, tried their best to watch all the previous seasons so that they can be refreshed for the final season. Why don't we have that for the country? And one of the solutions that I see with piracy is it continues that bit of that thing of the movie's release date continues to spread out across the entire year organically.
We also have a lot of gatekeepers, boss.
Okay, that's actually an interesting insight. Please, can you speak more on it?
Okay, so when I say gatekeepers, this is what I mean. I come from a background where I have a brother who's been trying to penetrate this movie industry, and he's got a studio, and he's worked with a bunch of these like celebrities and whatnot. And he's been complaining to me, you know what I mean, whereby he gets like there's this show that it's aired even on Netflix. I'm Not a Witch. I don't know how many of you have seen it. There's a show called I'm Not a Witch. Okay, so
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've also heard of it actually.
Yeah, so when you look at it on Netflix, it's there. Okay, so he had this same concept of the same movie. He did everything and whatnot. So when he was trying to look for fans and look for people who can co-work with him to produce this movie, someone went behind his back and did exactly the same concept, and he went on and did the movie, and he's been doing he's been writing a lot of series and sending what do you call that, the dummies, what do you call them again, the pilot project, yeah, the pilots.
Oh,
He's been sending the pilots and whatnot. But you find that the person between, okay, let me just mention names. The person between Zambezi Magic and the guys on the ground, you find that he wants something in order for him to present that pilot to the Zambezi Magic guy. So if you're not sorting him out or giving him any sort of kickback, then you're not going anywhere. That's why I'm saying that there's a lot of gatekeepers that are making this whole thing to drag back.
actually, I agree. You are 100% right on that one. Because yes, that definitely is because there is an office in South Africa that that's where we are all supposed to submit our Netflix stuff. But I am certain that whoever it is that's supposed to represent Zambia, if you are listening or if you know the person, tell them that I suspect that they are gatekeeping,
Mhm.
allegedly.
It's not nice, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. Actually, the gatekeeping factor is something that, and again, you see why piracy solves that? Because I'll give you an example. How many of you have heard of Who Killed Captain Alex? Even in the comments thingy. Okay, cool. Please go and watch this. Okay, when we're done talking, just write a note somewhere. Go watch Who Killed Captain Alex on YouTube. It was a movie that was created by some guys, and I think if it's not Uganda, then it's Ghana, but it's one of these northeastern African countries, and they've created a sort of film industry called Wakaliwood, and they just throw their movies on YouTube whenever they want to make a bit of noise. And there's the movie they did called Who Killed Captain Alex. Now, what had happened is when the movie came out, it was kind of whack on it. So it was Ugandan. Yes, thank you, Sulanji. He's in it. So yeah, it was kind of work when it came out. But then what happened was there was this DJ. I don't even know how his voice ended up in the movie. And then that version of the movie is the one that ended up coming out. And what it is imagine, you remember Kuka Video? How you'd have someone just constantly talking to you as the movie is playing? That's what the DJ is doing throughout the entire movie, and it elevates that horrible movie to a level that you can't even imagine. That movie is so fun to watch now. And the thing that
Yeah,
made
yeah, yeah.
was it's free to watch on YouTube. When you're done, when we're done here, you can go and watch it right now. What other films outside of, by the way, another movie, a short film you should check out. It's a short film by Augustine Lungu. It's called Spiral Bound. Please check it out. Some of the best sci-fi heady concepts that I've ever seen from this country. This guy does a time loop. So yes, going back to the conversation, what is it that you think we can do as an audience, okay? Because we know what the people up are doing and all the issues that are, but what can we do as an audience to help let them know that we're interested in watching their movies? Uh, I'll throw it to Director Tido. Let's start with you. Yeah, DC's channel is saying that Redback is on YouTube. Yes, and that's the most famous movie. Even I've watched it because at some point somebody had it on a flash drive. The question was, what can we as an audience be doing to help the movie industry? Because we know what the directors are currently doing, which is they're trying to make movies in this very difficult climate. We know there's gatekeepers. We know there's some issues in terms of the pipeline. But what can we as an audience do to let them know we're interested in growing that industry?
Okay, so thank you for actually giving me this opportunity. But I think most of the problem is not with the audience, honestly. I'm a filmmaker myself, and I just think, based on observation, I've seen most of the projects that we have, and I just think we just haven't gotten better at telling our stories. We have stories, and we just have like this basic way of telling our stories. They don't run deep. If you were to review a Zambian movie, you realize that most of the aspects of filmmaking they're not going to be as good. For example, just character description or character build up. Ima change it. Okay, na character sumuziwana mshemuishi aside from their name, you just know their name, and then ngati kuti chevazonda ulo wamatempa ndive muziva chati wini character wamatempa, but like what runs deep, you know, stories, the dialogue, these scripts that I see, the dialogue is always work, man. Like, so I feel like if we want to convince our people, the audience of Zambia, to watch our content, we have to give them something that is worth watching. We've seen some projects that have had us glued on the screen. For example, I'll give an example. Mix Kasama did this short series some time back on his YouTube channel. If you check it out, they did it so nicely with the cutting and everything that you actually got glued to the screen and you wanted to see another episode to go on and on and on, right? But I feel like most of the projects in Zambia, we don't do that. Even these big directors, when Paul Willow and whatever, we check out their movies. They are good, but just not like good enough. You get?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually hear you.
And just
Oh, sorry, Nick. I just wanted to respond to that first. The reason I asked that question, was I wanted to find out first off, do filmmakers in Zambia ever consider the audience when making their movies? And then I love the example you gave of Lusaka Starter Pack, because here's another thing that creates an industry is, while Mix is releasing the episodes of Lusaka Starter Pack, if there were people reacting to those episodes, you see how that creates more talkability and more activity around, because the way we build industry is by having jobs on jobs on jobs. If Mix can make money doing Lusaka Starter Pack, and someone can make a little bit of money reacting to it, now there's an incentive for both those people to keep doing what they're doing. And unfortunately, without knowing what the audience wants, which is something that I've noticed, a lot of people are making movies that nobody wants to see. So the reason I asked is, are we as an audience letting filmmakers know what it is that we want to watch from, in terms of as an audience?
okay, Mapaloka, can I get this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool. So I'll answer this one on two parts, right? First one, I want to add on what Director Tida said, right, Tido?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we lack originality, if you think about it, because we normally want to incorporate things what we see from the Western and try and mimic what Nigerian industry does. You know what I mean? We don't have our own theme, feel, and look. You know what I mean? The only person I think has that kind of feel and look was the late Minemushi. I don't know if you used to watch his content.
I did.
Okay.
There was this show he did called, was it The Therapist? It was so good.
Yeah, that guy was off the hook, man.
He
Because
was ahead of his time.
yeah, yes, he was so original. Like you can relate to what he's doing. Like so original. Like ethnic Zambian, you know. But when look at the black dollar you're giving an example of. Okay, have you seen? There's a lot of Western feel to that movie. You know what I mean? Even the storyline. Okay, it's not a Zambian storyline.
I'll have to
Okay.
disagree there. I'll have to disagree because I'll give you an example of I think it was Robert
Yeah.
Mugabe. That was his name. The late.
Yes, Robert
The
Mugabe.
therapist. The therapist was basically House. You know the show House
Yeah.
in Kitwe. That's what made it work for me. Because when I watched that, I was like, oh damn, finally a show I can actually watch that feels like the other shows I like. Because the truth is, bro, like let's be honest, okay? Yes, I would love to watch a movie that covers Chitim Kuru's escape from the Lubalunda Empire to establish the kingdom. I'd love to watch that. But I also wouldn't mind to watch a TV show that is like Suits, but about graphic designers in Lusaka. I wouldn't mind watching it. Where you're
Yeah.
talking about pitches, you're talking because the thing is the life within Lusaka, and that's what I like about the example you gave, is Robam explored Kitwe from the crime lens, but through a psychological aspect, which
Yes.
was so like that's so. It's not necessarily about originality, but more about, I guess, the execution of these ideas. Because I've seen some original concepts from Zambia, and original doesn't always mean good. Let me just put it that way.
Okay. I'm following.
Yeah, so I would say I think what to add on to what you've actually started speaking on there is what we need, because I believe in learning through copying. I am a huge advocate for learning through copying. So I believe that copying is fine. Look at India. India became a juggernaut by doing the dirty work for Hollywood. They were, for a long time, India is where you'd send your footage if you wanted to get it rotoscoped, because that was painstaking work that they needed to be done cheaply. So they'd send it to India, and India got so good at rotoscoping. Some of those guys, when they were bored and didn't have any work, they would rotoscope for some of the Indian movies. And that's some of the things we need to start engaging in as a country. Is we need to start doing, like, start outsourcing some of these gigs. If only Zesco can get their stuff together, we would be able to develop a nice, like, a nice
What do you mean?
population, bro. Like, what's the one thing that we need as filmmakers, editors, and whatnot? It's electricity.
Electricity, yeah. That's a low blow to Zesco, but yeah, let's
So
go.
if they could get their stuff, if they could get their act together, we could have easy employment for people. Just green screen cleaning can be something we can think of.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So there's someone who commented on John's message earlier today, and I just want to read some of the points that they brought up because they were really well like put. So I'll be trying to summarize and skimming at the same time. So it came from Yoweli Chungu. He's an actual director. He's worked on I think Ubuntu.
amakana n'amakana y'amalamba alekutina konsyokole pita wemfumu yandi nakupera
Chawezi, wanamnyamata wewe nipa kutichi nkaleta semu ulopa wake niwipa.
Kasongo, you need to be fortified with the ability to become the real strength of Ubuntu.
We have to get rid of Tandiwo and the family for good.
I want you to kill someone for me. Queen of Ubuntu.
Huh? How did you know I was about to be assassinated? Liar!
What he said was globally, film industries that grow fast like Nigeria, South Africa, and even Kenya now have three key things, which is consistent production, which is weekly series, something that John actually spoke to. Distribution systems that pay, which is TV networks or streaming platforms. and policy and funding support. Now, this I think is what we're actually missing in Zambia. Policy and funding support. Policy was done, I think last year. That was a good move when they reduced the tax on filming equipment, even though they started arguing with some of us on some of the equipment we were bringing in. If only when they said film equipment, they'd have an expert actually go like, okay, this is what constitutes a film equipment, because film no, that's not film equipment, but like nishini tripod. But let me not start venting. Yeah. So that's what he says is policy and funding support, which is like local film commissions, tax incentives, and private investment. So he says Zambia has talent and stories, but we lack the structure, ownership, and systems, which is what John was speaking to in his post. He says if we depend too much on foreign platforms that control visibility and revenue, and to add on to this point, we depend too much on foreign entities for everything. Our cameras come from outside. Even though we have metal in this country, we can fabricate tripods. We still have to import tripods. My reflectors, all of these things that we can make locally, we have to import. We are too dependent on foreign entities that control visibility and revenue. So if DSTV and Zambezi Magic left tomorrow, they'd take most of our successful shows with them, and that is the hard road truth.
And there'll be a huge gap.
Yeah. So he then says, as one of the solutions, and this is why I want to read this, because this is one of the solutions from someone in the industry making shows that you're watching right now, who is giving their 2 cents on this. So what can we do? We build our own structure. Imagine a Zambian Film Association owned and run by local actors, producers, writers, where members contribute small fees to fund 1 or 2 quality local productions a year. The association owns a share of every project, so profits can fund the next one. Over time, that becomes a sustainable cycle. Zambians funding Zambian stories. Then we host those films on homegrown streaming platforms, let's call it Zamflix, or even just use one of the already existing ones. We just agree that this is the one we want to succeed first, because I don't understand why we have streaming platforms in Zambia competing for the Zambian audience. Like, that doesn't make sense for me. But yes, then we host those on an affordable, mobile-friendly, with flexible payment options like Airtel Money or MTN Money. Start small, maybe even hybrid with YouTube, where the first season maybe plays on the app, and then maybe after like a year or 2, you drop it on YouTube. And that's how we combine the visibility with the structure that was mentioned in John's post. So he does point out a few challenges that we must cross. He says we need to be aware of internet access and how digital payments are still quite limited. He says that piracy will always compete with us if we make it hard to access content legally. So what he's basically saying is, with how it is currently, piracy is what is being encouraged by the Zambian movie industry, because once the movie comes out, the only way you're going to get it is you make a few phone calls and get it on a flash drive, which doesn't help the director by too much outside of there's going to be another person who will have watched their movie. And he says if we take small steady steps, we can build a strong series and create a trusted creative fund, keep ownership local, and we can change the story of Zambian film. Our goal isn't to copy Nollywood or Hollywood, it's to build something authentic, consistent, and proudly Zambian. That's the comment from Yoweli Chungu, with a few comments from myself sprinkled in there, because I just can't let a person finish their thoughts. I will bring it to the group. What are your thoughts? I'll start with John.
Reading culture, Zambia. Do you know why I'm saying this? For those who actually read my post from start to finish, basically just mentioned the same things that I mentioned. If you compare the same comment and what I posted, it's actually the same thing. Yeah,
Well,
but
there's the
obviously
details he had added on.
maybe nshayishbokurembama post IAP, so a lot of people didn't read what I posted. But basically, that's what I was talking about. I mentioned about creating a Zambian film industry like association. Like how do we now raise money like for the same production, right?
Yeah.
We can have things like maybe membership subscription, which can be done like maybe you can pay quarterly or yearly, depending on what works for everyone, right? And then every year they should call for applications where you pitch your movie. But the first step, as a way of killing those gatekeepers you were talking about, the first step, you need to be a member to this association, right? So at this point, it's not about whom you know. As long as you're a member, you are entitled. Like they can produce your movie. If it makes sense, right? So they call for applications. You do submissions, and then from there they can pick maybe 1 or 2 movies that they're going to work on in that particular year. And then after that, the other year, the same thing and whatnot. Because you'll find that in Zambia, in as much as we want to tell our stories and whatnot, the truth of the matter is that not so many people can afford to hire a guy like Kenny Rock. The reason why it was very easy to have Can They See Us and whatnot, I don't know if that's the name. It's the fact that the production in terms of quality and everything, yadi meeting ama requirements, or rather the criteria ya Netflix. Because for Netflix, they won't just buy anything. They won't just put anything on their platform. Because at the end of the day, they want to maintain a certain standard. They want to make sure that it's worth the money they are paying and whatnot, right? So that gave them an advantage in a sense that the quality was on point. But again, you'll find that it's not everyone in Zambia who can actually afford that kind of quality. This is where now the association comes in. It's not about what they can afford, but it's about what the association can afford.
Yes. How can they
as long as your movie makes sense? So now, there's a standard. There's a standard in terms of how our movies will be looking, in terms of quality, sound, storytelling, and whatnot. Because you can have an idea, or maybe let me just say, the fact that you can come up with a story doesn't mean you even know how to market that movie, or in terms of how you're going to distribute. So your job is just to come up with the story. And then the association now will do the rest. They will do the marketing for you. They will do the distribution for you. They will do the production for you. So for me, I think that's what we need.
I actually like that, and you've given me an idea. As you were talking, I just realized, if any of the listeners work at a bank, please tell your bank that instead of doing another hackathon this year, maybe they could, do a film festival where you sponsor some actual artistic work. Because I've seen ABSA has Letelier, and the FNB also has that what's that artists challenge that they do? I think we need to start diversifying some of these sponsorships. We can't have all the banks doing art challenges. Can we have one of them at least sponsor a film festival where we watch some short films or even some long films and give some awards, do speeches, the usual thing, so that we can begin to build this?
Yeah, Mapalo, I agree with you. But, at the end of the day, before these entities like banks jump on to whatever is going on, they need to see that the train is really headed somewhere. So if we, as creatives, are not giving them anything to way of supporting, they won't come, no matter what you do. That's why they're just busy into this music and stuff like that.
And that's why we need piracy, so that they can start seeing what is happening. Because now let me start doubling down on my point.
That's actually true. We need piracy. But guys, because that movie, the Black Dora arrangement, it's not even on ZNBC, the national carrier of the freaking country, guys.
But guess what you can
How?
watch on ZNBC? Guess what you can watch on ZNBC?
You watch Telemundo stuff, except from I don't know where.
Bro, you can watch Con Air, bro. You can
Kai,
probably watch a movie that came out in the same year as Black Dollar that is
you
from
know?
outside this country.
Guys, I have a question. Even if
Eh.
by capacity BC, are we going to watch? Let's be honest.
Definitely we're going to watch, bruh.
In fact,
Definitely we're going to watch.
I'm not even fighting.
When last did you watch ZNBC news?
No,
Let's
but
start
the
from
thing, but the thing you see, so like you say, like when last have you watched NBC? Dude, there are people that sit every day 19 hours to watch NBC to their sleep. You know? So
And if I can jump in, John, not everyone is making a lot of money. Like, I remember when the only entertainment I had was ZNBC. Bro, I would watch DWTV Nishindeskem Barepansi.
bruh,
So I'm
exactly.
thinking of the kid who's just like me, who only has ZNBC, and
Uh.
he needs inspiration. He needs
Bruh.
an idea to just tell him that your situation, you can get out of it. You could be David Kazadi. I mean, not
You know what I mean,
for
no?
the reason, but for the
Bro.
good reasons.
Okay, so for me, this is how I look at it. I'll give this example. Why is it okay? Someone would say no, because Chris Brown is expensive and whatnot. But when you look at, let's say, Stanbic Music Festival, in as much as they would want to bring artists, Bafana, like even a Chris Brown and whatnot, most of the guys who listen to those people, they can't even afford the ticket for 2 pin. Okay,
John,
in
that's their strategy. You know what I
Can
mean?
I
That's their
finish?
strategy. That's
Can I
their target
finish?
market.
Okay.
Us Gen Zs, you know, their target market is something else. So you can't blame them for not bringing the happening.
They don't bring Drake.
No, that's their target market. Yeah, they can't bring Drake because he's going to ask for a lot of money, and the people that know Drake music and the people that are going to go out and watch,
Okay,
they can't afford the ticket, like you said.
Let him
That's
finish.
them bringing. That's
Okay. We'll allow Jay-Z to finish. Then Nick.
So my point is, at the end of the day, business is about making money, okay? And it's about giving people what they want. So the reason why I brought up this issue of Stanbic Music Festival, it's the fact that you're talking about a kid somewhere in the anyway, rural areas. Okay. Whether in Lusaka, Kwisa, my point is, if the goal is to make those guys happy, when you introduce, let's say we're talking about building a Zambian streaming platform like Netflix, right? So by the time you introduce, like, okay, now we have this platform, this is how much you need to pay monthly, those guys won't even afford the subscription, which goes back to my point. In as much as we would want to bring Chris Brown and whatnot, the truth of the matter is, my fans hear Chris Brown, but he been drama. That's just the truth. So we shouldn't target people can't even afford the product that we are selling. Let's target people can actually buy the product that we are selling. And the people can actually afford the product we are selling. In this case, it's you and me. So the question is now, how do we
first? Hold on. Let me let Nick respond to you before you ask the question. Just hold on to that. Nick?
boss. I think your music festival thing is not working, boss. Your example is not working with what you're trying to do.
And if I could add on to the music festival, first of all, I need you to think about this one thing. That's the thing I think we're forgetting when we talk about music festival.
Okay.
How do musicians primarily distribute their product?
They pirated the thing.
You encounter a product by a musician, you're listening to it for free. The first time. Most times, you're listening to it for free, and based on that engagement with it, you then have that excitement to want to have that either on your phone or on your Spotify or whatever it is. So, we can only have the music festival because, for instance, Yo Maps had a lot of his music out for free. I would say maybe the population of Zambians that actually buy Yo Maps' music could be on a very generous guesstimate, maybe 30% of everyone that listens to Yo Maps' music, and that's super generous. Like the people
Mapalo,
that buy from
let
it.
me ask you this question.
Mm.
Can you allow me to ask you this question?
Please.
So you're talking about your maps, right? Let's just say, was it last week or this year pamene anachosa album? Munamvera kwato bagulisa masidi ya yo maps uko.
Not really, actually. Yeah, I've seen them in the streets. Yeah,
No, okay, yo maps akakambati adropa album yanyu. Chimaipeza kuti.
Spotify, Boomplay, Chanyuko.
And in exchange, what he gets paid, right?
Yes.
So can you call that piracy?
But the first time most people listen to the
can you call that piracy?
Am I going to respond to your question, or do you just want me to confirm?
Because if I'm being honest, your maps from the time pamena anabwera pasin guys, anabwera nishikuripe na vama CD. So piracy yo ni karibo yona koine. Because I got to know about your maps through social media. That's how I got to know about your maps.
Let me ask you a question then. When people are on a bus, what's that? What is that?
When people are on a bus, what's that? But in bus,
how many are paying for the music they're listening to?
Bro, what you're saying right now, it's like you saying that
people in a bar are paying for the music that they're listening to.
None.
But do you know that? Look, you're missing the point, Mapalo. The fact that nikaenda kuba what is a music ya Yo Maps and it's free, it doesn't mean Yo Maps is not benefiting. First of all, needs to stream it.
That's my point. That's my point. Making
either way,
free,
Yo Maps will still get paid from the streams.
Exactly. So you're basically.
So when you say piracy, what do you mean?
So basically, when I say piracy, is the content should be accessible for free through as many platforms as possible. And then I went on to add that point where I said, one way we could do it is have the YouTube option, because for me, the goal is free access of these movies after a certain point. Because at a certain point, your product stops making money for you and it stops generating interest and awareness for you. Packing it on your hard drive does not help you. So what you need is what Yo Maps has, it's what Chile One has, it's the ability to access people, to have people access your content for free. That's been my entire pitch.
So remember, I made a post this afternoon where I gave an example about Divorce Club, right? So my point is, at this point, guys, we can't even have a conversation about piracy, if I'm being honest, because there are so many platforms that where you can upload your content. People may access that content for free, yes, but in return, you still get paid. I don't pay for YouTube in order for me to listen to Yo Maps, but at the end of the day, Yo Maps still gets paid. And that's my point. Whether you're accessing the content for free, but the person who actually invested money in that production should benefit at the end of the day. But when you talk of piracy nivi like I'll give an example. Nimbo ya choka and invakudala nimbo ya choka, and then bantu bambopanga ma CD, ma artists, they were not benefiting from that. But ukaenda let's say nangupa Boomplay, even if you haven't paid for subscription, the fact that Yo Maps ma views yake or ma streams yake in 1 million, they will still pay him the money that is equivalent to 1 million streams. So there is no piracy there. Either way, Yo Maps is still benefiting. This is the reason why they say, because when you look at this streaming platform, it's very simple. If you're not paying for subscription, then you're the product. What do I mean by you're the product? They'll run ads. They'll make sure that before you listen to Yo Maps, listen to our ads first of all. And if you don't like the ads, pay the subscription. And that's the money these guys are being paid. First of all, they are paid, the money is coming from ads as well as subscription. So there's no piracy there. There's no piracy. It's either you pay if you don't want ads, or you listen for free, but on top of that, you listen to ads.
Okay, I think I just have a light bulb, guys. Okay, So, what I've gotten from all you've talked about thus far is, I think it's easy to have a song pirated compared to a movie. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, cause movies is not like you just go on YouTube and type this movie and then it comes and you watch it. You know, compared to how many sites or streaming services we have for a song.
Yeah.
You know? So when we compare the two ones and say, cause our main discussion here, let's not forget, it's not music. It's a movie industry that we're trying to see how best you can sustain by, like you said, Mapalo, pirating the movie, right?
And the reason I keep bringing the thingy of music is when he brought up the Stanbic Music Festival,
Mm-hmm.
he forgot that music is only popular because it's free
Yeah,
for
with
the
that,
most part.
and
And
that's the
then
complete opposite with the movie.
and then with the movie, so it actually goes to another point I was making in one of the videos I made, which is the need for filmmakers within the country to also start smaller. We need to be more accepting of the reality we exist in and acknowledge that, oh, because we don't have a movie industry in the country, me spending 2 years working on a feature-length 90-minute movie might not be the best idea, which is why shorts are the best way to go, because shorts, like music, you can get it done in one sitting. Convincing someone to sit and watch a 15-minute short is much easier than telling someone to go and watch the full 2-hour runtime of, I don't know how long the Mizukanji movie is, but like it's a much harder sell for you to say, hey, would you like to sit for 2 hours with me and watch this movie? Or would you like to check out this thing for 15 minutes? I think that's another mental shift we need to see from the industry. And I think there's a movie coming out this Friday, Open Window University. It's free. If you don't have anything to do and you live near the area, please go watch Sink or Swim at Open
Let's
Window
go, Mapal.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'll see you there. I'm coming also.
Yeah, so it's a murder mystery, which
Yeah.
again is such an interesting concept. I really, that's why I believe the kids are going to save the world. So when I say piracy, the aspect of piracy that I see as being useful to the movie industry, especially in the country, is when it comes to distribution, which is the second tier. Remember, from Yoweli's thingy, he mentioned we need consistent content, a distribution network, and policy changes that support that thing. So on the distribution part, right now, if you don't have YouTube and you don't have Facebook, and someone releases a song, it's going to be very hard for that thing to get to you. And I know Jay-Z has no interest in getting to people who are not paying for that music, especially out in the rural areas. But the reason I'm such an AI enthusiast is I want everyone on the planet to start at the same creative baseline so that we can actually see whose ideas are worth paying attention to. And that's why I would love for distribution to also exist for people who may not be able to afford to watch movies but still have an interest in them. Because I do not think it is fair to just be like, no, because you're not part of the people we're targeting to eventually make money from, you don't deserve to be a part of this industry. Because that guy could grow up and direct the first $1 billion Zambian movie. And we cannot leave anyone behind, because that mentality is part of the reason this problem is here right now. We keep focusing on just small select groups without thinking about how we're going to make sure that everybody is part of this.
Mapalo, what time is the movie, sir?
I will share it on my page.
Okay.
And I'll send you links. For anyone else, just follow me, obviously. But I will share it on my page so that everybody can just get some of the details there. It's called Sink or Swim. Just search for Sink or Swim on all social media platforms. They've done a really good job marketing this thing, which is something I see a lot of Zambian movies fail to do. which is utilize social media well to advertise a movie. What is the issue there? Are we in the creative industry? Because right now we're mostly creatives here. Instead, we have one director. How can we now help our friends in the film industry get the word out? And
Okay, sharp. So we'll wait for you to share.
Mapalo,
Yes, sir.
I think you missed my point when I talked about like we shouldn't target people can't even afford the subscription. So let me give you this practical example.
Yeah.
Let's say in school Bwanja meaning using. Okay, let's just say Lusaka International Schools, right?
Yeah.
When they are doing their marketing, whom do they target? Is it bantu bamene bazamboenda ku school or my parents?
Are you target the parents?
Parents, boy.
They're my buyers, and that's my point. There are a lot of Zambians who actually watched Can They See Us, who have never paid for Netflix. But how did they manage to watch that? Someone who can afford paid and gave them access. So first of all, you target the people who can actually afford the product, and then the same people now will share accounting machani, so that even people can't even afford. Or munyumba, you find that there is one parent working who can actually afford DSTV. That parent is the one who is paying DSTV subscription, and then kulibantu bamene basungi wachabe, but because they are in that house, they are able to watch Zuba or Mpadi. But those people are not the one who actually paid. So first of all, you convince the people can actually afford, who can give you their money to say this is worth paying. After that, now, others can benefit. And that's my point. Because if there is no pattern or roadmap in terms of how we are going to make money, and we are just doing it for the sake of Inkarekuja, like people should see the movie and whatnot, we'll find that at the end of the day, we won't even have enough money to produce new movies. And I gave an example about Divorce Club. It was free in the beginning, and then David and his team introduced subscription. They built that whole platform where you have to pay for subscription and whatnot. And what happened to the show? It died. Yep. Why? Because people who were actually watching that show, they can't even, most of them, let me not say they couldn't afford, but maybe they didn't just feel the need of actually paying for subscription. And we can't build an industry like that, guys. We can't.
Actually, you've touched on a very good point there, because with Divorce Club, right? It's not that they couldn't afford it. It's that it wasn't a good enough reason to subscribe. Netflix actually used to suffer from this before they had Stranger Things. They did not have what is known as a flagship show, the thing that people subscribe to their network for. So I think that's another potential thing that people who are working on these apps and distribution platforms could consider, is you need to have something that people constantly come back to you for you to like begin to see the benefits of having that streaming platform. Because I'll be honest, I am one of the people who was watching Divorce Club episode maybe 1 to 5, and the moment
it was dope.
And the moment it went to the streaming platform,
I didn't even pay.
I don't think I like this enough to spend money on it. But the truth is, like, it was expensive to produce. That was very well done.
Yeah, it was nice.
I'm part of the problem, actually. I'm willing to admit that.
Let's start paying.
Imagine, Muguriza, you are a company who produces dog food, and then Mambo come back to, no, in our ads, we should target dogs. Can dogs even afford what you're selling?
But I think you're missing my point, because there's...
I don't know. I've been paying attention, guys. I've been paying attention to this conversation.
So there's a legacy aspect of this.
Exactly.
Which is very, very important, because a lot of people, you knew Spider-Man before you were paying for him. And it's those people who become fanatics. When you grow up, when you encounter something as a child, it changes you. Because as a child, everything you're experiencing is the greatest thing ever. So the goal that I'm pushing for is not just, we shouldn't be selling dog food to dogs, because these are not dogs, these are people. people can be inspired. You still need to invest in the future of the industry. You can't just be like, no, let's sell to people right now. Like, yes, that's what we're trying to solve right now. But your plan needs to involve the future, because that's how we come up with these short-sighted plans. Like, let's do a streaming platform and not think about what's going to be our flagship production.
Exactly. Was spoken, Mapalo. I feel
Spider-Man
like
was free.
Jay-Z,
I watched
especially
Spider-Man for
Jay-Z.
free. I don't understand. Maybe John Zimba grew up rich and he paid for everything he watched, but a lot of stuff that I engaged with was free. And the only reason I'm in the media industry is because of all the free shit that I engaged with as a kid.
So Mapalo, I think okay, let me put it this way. So when I say Spider-Man wasn't free, it's not like Yoweli Chungu movie. Ni company here behind the Spider-Man production.
That's Marvel Studios.
Yeah, it's not like the Marvel Studios vice and that, you know what? Since there's a guy in Zambia, Mapalo, who can't afford to buy a cinema ticket and whatnot, let's upload this movie online for free. That wasn't the case. First of all, we need to understand the background of piracy. How did piracy happen? What led to piracy? Then we can now move forward. First of all, piracy, it's not like these companies actually they were in support for for the idea of piracy. No, it happened, and I gave an example about DVDs, about the post I made today. I gave an example about DVDs because I saw someone who commented.
Let me just.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
What do you think my stance is as you finish? I just want to understand that you know where I'm coming from, because it seems like you're discussing a different topic from the one that I've been talking about, and I just want to know like we're on the same.
You are encouraging piracy as a way of making these movies popular, not so?
Yes. What are the problems?
And that's why I don't agree. And that's why I don't agree.
Because you believe that we can, through structure, still make them popular, right?
No. Like, do you know how many people were affected because of piracy?
I know piracy affects a lot.
Do you know how many companies lost money because of piracy?
In Zambia or outside?
In general, at this point, I'm not even talking about Zambia. In general,
the Zambian industry with outside. That's why I think piracy can save the Zambian industry, because we don't have one. You cannot start using examples from Hollywood as things we should be following, because they spend millions on their movies. So I don't know how.
Okay. Let's put it this way. Let's come back home. How many actors that you know or you grew up watching that have money now because you watched their movie?
Chuck Norris, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, I'm saying in Zambia.
Oh, in Zambia. How many have money because I watched them?
No, like what I'm saying is, how many actors do you know that, like the ones you grew up watching, that have money today because they produced movies? Which goes back to I'm trying to show you the effect of or the impact of piracy.
I am aware of the impact of piracy. I think what you're not aware of is the goal of piracy in this country.
Okay, I think let me jump in here. What Mapalo is trying to do is we are not. Sorry. We are not. Just hold on, director. We are not trying to encourage piracy. No. What Mapalo is trying to do is, can we at least try to pirate what we have in the market for our industry to grow? Not that piracy is good. No. If I am mistaken, Mapalo, correct me.
No, I actually think piracy is good.
So I think we're also focusing on the wrong aspect here, especially Jay-Z. Boy, you're way off the topic. I don't know, because I feel like Mwanakambira Mapalo, you're in another topic, bro. And what we're discussing, it's sort of like it's not aligned. and I've seen he's trying to get you on track so that you see
You can easily say that I'm off topic
the
because you
pers-
didn't read what I posted on Facebook. It's
the
that simple.
perspective. No. Yeah. My bad on that. But following the discussion and everything, and how you're arguing your points and the points that Mapalo is arguing, it's clear that you are talking about something different. He's talking about something different. So his point, like he said, he's not talking about just putting this product out there for free and no one benefiting. He's actually looking at the power of legacy. So there's a legacy that has to be created. There are numbers that has to be attracted. The product that we're talking about, Spider-Man, if the first franchise if the first franchise didn't get pirated, the second franchise wasn't going to make that much money because only people with money who were going to afford to watch Spider-Man would have watched it. But because it was free for everyone, not really like free by the studio, but like it was pirated. The studio sold it, but somehow, somewhere, it still got to people who couldn't afford it. And I think that's what Mapalo is trying to explain, where he's saying these movies, yes, Black Dollar, I mean, Vanachosa, some people went to see it, but what about the people who didn't have the money to see Black Dollar? So we are here where even today you meet some people and you tell them, do you know that we have Black Dollar in Zambia? And they're like, what movie is that? Because they didn't get to see it. It was never pirated. You can't find it anywhere other than Pamene per Netflix. So I've heard. I haven't tried to look it up. But basically, I think Mapalo is focusing more on the power that those numbers have. Like, yes, there are people who can't afford, but the fact that they'll come and watch, the viewership grows. And when the viewership grows, the value of the content itself grows. When that value grows, the demand also comes in. That's how business rolls, like say. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Director. And to just add on, the other reason I genuinely think piracy is a good thing is, on top of what you've just said, piracy also acts as a safeguard against predatory company practices. For instance, wherever Black Dot is currently publicly viewed, where you can view it publicly, if the internet gets shut down tomorrow, no Black Dollar. And if the internet gets shut down forever, no Black Dollar. Who's going to have it on their hard drives and things like that? That's one of the reasons we do need to have piracy, because there's a lot of movies and a lot of documentaries. By the way, even documentaries. There's this guy was telling me about a counter documentary he was working on. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I was like, please upload it to YouTube. And he did not. Sadly, he is late. And no one's ever going to see that documentary because it only exists on that hard drive. But like with piracy, if that thing had been out, and even if he was trying to sell it and distribute it on the usual platforms, if it had become free at some point later, people would have had it. Some other people would have had a copy of that. And that's one of the things that I see piracy helping. It's with distribution and legacy.
Mapalo, we can't make something free. First of all, we need to find a financer. If we are saying that, okay, we are going to bring corporates on board to sponsor these movies and whatnot, well, then your point makes sense. But if I'm going to use end money, and then on top of that, I should make it free,
corporates,
it doesn't make
sense. Corporates care about more than money. Actually, do you know what corporates care about more than money? For Stanbic to sponsor a movie,
publicity.
That 100,000 people were interested in that, and by sponsoring it, 100,000 people are going to see that their new mobile banking app allows them to bank on their phone. They will pay for that movie. So thanks for actually bringing up that point of how corporates, what they need isn't.
But that's advertising. That's advertising, and it's not free.
But that's how we pay for the movie industry. Aren't we trying to find solutions for how we can actually solve this problem?
No, and I'm saying there is no way you are going to expect someone with their ad-end money invest in a movie and just give it out. I'm not saying
there's no way I'm expecting. This has been done before. It's what we do this, John. We do this almost every day. We set up the kind of relationships where an entity with money supplies someone with talent, because that person with talent has access to a wide audience, which which you can only get, by the way, as a movie maker. I don't know how you're getting a wide audience with your one night premiere and throwing it on Inuit immediately after. What's the name of that app? Throwing it on Inuit immediately after. That's what I'm trying to like solve for here. Like, you keep going about, no, we can't just, and we need to find people. We can't. Look, we have an awareness problem in the movie industry. How are we solving that?
So, Mapalo, my point is, okay, let me put it this way. Let's say if I spend $1 million kwacha to produce a movie, right?
Mhm.
Before I even think of making it free for everyone and whatnot, I need first of all to make my money back. Okay. So there's no way you're going to say
Where is that money
because
going to come from?
because of legacy,
No, but
because
where's
of
that money going to
a
come
kid
from?
somewhere,
Okay,
then I should just make it for free. I
where's the money
spent
coming
money.
from?
I
But
spent
where's the
money and I
money
need to
coming
make my
from?
money back.
But where is the money coming from?
No, and I'm saying if you want it to be free, then we need to think of how can we bring financiers on board.
Did I not just tell you how we can bring financiers on board, and you keep arguing with me about that point because you don't want to hear about the plan that I've literally given you about how we can get financiers on board?
Mapalo, for example, okay, let's look at Black Dollar. Who financed Black
What are
Dollar?
you even arguing? You didn't even listen to what I literally told you the solution.
No,
Instead of saying, oh, what
look,
solution did you bring up? You're just like, let's listen to Black. Like, bro, what are you even doing here, bro? I've given you, you've said we need to find finances. I've said get a wide audience, okay? Which means you will have to spend money and produce something for free with the aim of getting a sponsor to jump on, which means the first thing you need to do as a filmmaker is get information from the audience. Right now, one mistake I even mentioned earlier is too many filmmakers are making movies that nobody wants to watch. Do some research, find out what people are interested in. Do some short films, actually test the concept. You know, The Matrix was a short film before it was an actual movie. Test the concept first. If people are interested in the concept, then based on the popularity of your concept, you can go to any company. This works every time. There isn't a single company that does not want to be seen by a lot of eyeballs. Once you just have that, where you have the short film, which is not as expensive as a movie to make, by the way. I'm actually giving you solutions here, okay? Do a short film. It's not as expensive as an entire movie to make, which allows you a little bit more leeway to throw something for free and just let the people tell you if they want to see it. And when you get your 200,000, your 1 million views, your 10 million views, this show, it's Bookie, got 15 million views in the first week. You now get those numbers and you now start shopping around for sponsors. So the issue isn't just, oh, you need to make back your money. The issue is there's another roadblock further down the line that we need to be solving, because what you're currently discussing here is not where the issue is. It's a bit further up the line. And that's what I would like us to be discussing here.
Okay, so let's look at let's say Zambezi Magic, for example. Do you know the procedure in terms of how they buy Zambian content?
What is the procedure that they use to buy?
Educate us, John.
So what they usually do, because I have people, there was a time we were pitching something to Zambezi Magic and whatnot. No wonder I'm saying the first step is to find a financer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to sell, let's say, a movie to to Zambezi Magic, the first step is to sell the story. Okay? Then what Zambezi Magic does, which goes back to what you have mentioned, they will do more like a sample, right? Like they'll give you money, not a lot of money, but just a bit of money. Because first of all, what they're interested in, the first step is the story. If they like the story, they will now give you a bit of money. Can
So
you
they provide
produce
money
a
for a
sample?
pilot.
Yes, they'll give you money for a sample.
Okay.
So you're not losing any money here. You're not using your personal money. They have given you some money. Can you create a pilot? And then from there, they'll watch. They won't even like put it on TV. No, they'll just watch as management and whatnot. And then if they like, or maybe let me just say, if the story that you sold to them and the visuals match, then they'll be like, okay, this makes sense. This is something that is worth investing. Then they'll give you money for the whole entire production, which goes back to what I've been talking about. If I'm using my ad-end money, why should I give it out for free? And that's my point. So I don't know why you're saying, what are you even doing here and whatnot, as if I'm talking about something that is totally different from the discussion we're having.
It is totally different from the discussion we're having, because I'll give you an example of where you've just spoken about. Before you even shoot your movie, you have to go to Zambezi Magic. With what? A PowerPoint presentation. How many meetings is the person at Zambezi Magic going to have? No wonder we're going to have gatekeepers if the only thing you're going to Zambezi Magic with is a PowerPoint and a storyboard of your thing. This is how it works. Like, even out, like, you need to have a proof of concept. You've worked with clients before. You know they want to see your portfolio before they put money on anything, which means you have to put in some free labor. I don't know how you're going to get funding from Zambezi Magic with no concept.
But what I just explained, bro, that's what is being done out there. I'm not speaking from assumptions. You can call people and find out if what I'm saying is true or not.
That explains why we have a problem in the Zambian industry, because the only people that get to see what is made in Zambia is the Zambezi Magic executive. So if Zambezi Magic's agenda does not align with the film that is presented with them, it's not going anywhere. That actually helps solve one of the problems. Is we need, like I said, more free alternatives instead of constantly just pushing for the Zambezi route, because they have their own agenda. Every company follows certain specific criteria that they pick for their movies. And if your movie is too sci-fi for Zambezi Magic, tough luck, right?
It looks like the gatekeepers live by Zambezi Magic itself.
Well, allegedly. Let's throw that at the end of that. We do not want to get in any kind of trouble.
Look, for me, I feel like your concept can actually work if there was already, let's say, a production house that is willing and actors that are willing to act for free. That can work. But the fact that you still need to pay people, that doesn't make sense, to be honest.
And that's where it gets wild. We don't have any of the things you keep referencing that we are supposed to be using to build this, which is why free, easy to move movies is the way. Because when you're relying on bureaucratic organizations that have their own specific agenda, and I'm not saying that they're evil, I'm just saying that every company has brand values and goals. There's some movies and films and short film concepts that Zambezi Magic is just not going to pick up no matter what. And I'd like to see some of them. In fact, some of the reasons some of the good concepts will be shot down is because either they'll be too expensive, because, and John, I'm sure you can speak to this. What happens when your budget is a bit too high for your concept? What happens to your production?
It compromises the quality.
And that's one of the things that will keep happening to our movie industry for as long as we keep going through that particular option.
Okay, to be honest, I fail to understand, like, where are we missing each other when in actual sense, actually, we are talking about the same thing. This is the reason why I even brought up the idea of coming up with more like an association. Yeah, and then yeah. I even break it down in terms of how money can be raised for movie production. Because if we're going to look at this like someone who has connections, like, okay, if today I came up with an idea, like I want to shoot a movie, at least I know one or two people who can give me their cameras and whatnot. That's not the case for everyone. So the question is, how can we make it fair for even like someone who doesn't even know someone?
Spiral Bound was shot on a phone. The short film I recommended by Augustine Lungu, that's on YouTube, the one I was saying has one of the best sci-fi concept executions in the country, was shot on an iPhone, and it is on YouTube right now for anyone to see. And if he wanted to make a longer movie, all he needs to do is make that one blow up. That's it. We just need more people to see that, and that can be the next movie. That's where I'm coming from. The part where we're missing each other is your steps are skipping the very important first step that currently has us in the problem that we have. You are currently thinking of solutions that forget where we are as a country right now. The reality of what we're experiencing as an industry.
I guess the iPhone was free, so yeah, we can move on.
Do you remember when I said you will have to put in your own labor, your own free labor? Do you remember when I said that?
Which goes back to my point, bro.
Your point is that before you even remove your iPhone, you have to go to Zambezi.
My point is, first of all, you need to find a financer. It can be a friend, your uncle,
that's not
whoever, but
step.
you need
The
a
first step
financer.
is you need the concept, John. That's what I'm
Financiers
saying.
are drawn by numbers, guys.
Come
Financiers
on,
are
bro. You
drawn
need
by
an idea
numbers.
first.
You need
Well, which
numbers.
financer is just going to be like, you need to actually have proof of, in fact, not an idea, you need a proof of concept. That's what
So
the financer wants.
Okay.
In fact,
So
financiers will be more confident.
A financer, basically, it's in business terms, it's actually an investor. Do you know why we have different types of investors?
You can explain.
There are investors who only invest in ideas. Like, you just have your business on paper. They are willing to invest. And then there is what they call angel investors. People who only want to invest in something that is already running. It has proved that it can actually make money. So the question is, how do I identify people can actually invest in an idea that is just on paper? This is the reason why we have different types of investors. So if you're going,
an investor will only invest in.
My point is, you're saying that no one is going to invest in an idea. There are people out there investing in ideas. You just don't know the type of investors out there. This is the reason why you're saying that there's no one who is going to invest in something that hasn't proven that it can actually make money. They are there. Do your research, bro. They are there. I'm not talking about things that I don't know.
Guys.
I think you are. I think you are.
Let's do this.
To be honest, I think you
let's
are.
take the two.
I think you are, to be honest, because
let's take 2 points here, guys, so that we move on, because this is going to look like a fight.
This live,
just
do your AI stuff, find out if what I'm...
Just a moment. Despite the different type of investors, you still need to have built the trust of the public, because your investor will be investing in something they believe in. For them to have something they believe in, you must have proven yourself somehow. So your route that just goes to an investor assumes that that investor will just look at you and nobody with no film and no experience and nothing to show for it outside of a PowerPoint presentation and a storyboard, and they'll invest in you. What I'm suggesting that is actually useful for an actual director who could be listening right now is make your movie. Make your concept. Yes, you're gonna lose some money, but that's what happens with all of us. When we buy our first laptop, we spend our own money. Make your movie, build the concept, and then you can go John's route. John keeps skipping the first part, which is where you need to have something that is already there that you can test the concept on. Because first of all, from my perspective, you need the support of the people before you can get the support of any investor. Because any investor that puts money in you without the support of the people can bully you into doing whatever they want. And that's probably why we have so many struggles within the movie industries, because we keep thinking about the second step before we do the first one. Now, John, I will give you an opportunity to finish your point.
It still goes back, bro. I'm in business and I know what I'm talking about. Even like the issue of financer, basically these are just investors. Right now, there's actually a movie that they are supposed to film. There are some investors that actually came into the country. I think some time back, maybe if it's not last year, then early this year. They haven't done any sample. It's just a story on paper, bro. And these guys are willing to invest millions and millions of dollars. So I don't know, maybe you don't have people in your circle who actually attend some of these meetings.
hold on. Put an e-break on that. They are willing to put in millions and millions of dollars.
Yes.
On what? Did they see any pilot or whatever? Or is
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like,
is it just written words? Is it just written words that they were reading? What is it?
How?
What
So
is it that prompted them to put in millions and millions of dollars? What is it that
I actually need to see
Let me explain.
Some receipts, because now
then these guys, John, if that's the case, then these guys are the luckiest bastards living right now.
Can I explain?
Please do.
So remember, I actually shared a whole process in terms of when it comes to Zambezi Magic production, right? It's not like people actually like the movies we watch, they work for Zambezi Magic. Zambezi Magic just buys content. So like I said, and I gave you an opportunity that you can call someone and find out if what I'm saying is actually true or not.
Okay.
The first step, you have to sell the story in written, okay? And then once they are interested in the story, they will give you, let's say, okay, let me just say if the budget for the movie, it's like, let's just say 5 million kwacha, right? They will give you maybe 500 kwacha just for you to do like a sample, more like a pilot. Then from there now, because now they want to match what you wrote versus the videos. Do they match? Are they making sense? Okay. And then from there, once they see that, okay, this actually makes sense, then after they will actually give you the whole money for the production.
Okay. Mapalo, are you still here?
I'm here. I was actually listening to him basically say what I was saying.
Okay, I want to call one of the Zambezi Magic producers and directors here. Babe, pass me your phone. I want to coach Mika.
Let's go.
Yes, you can
pass
do
me
that.
Your phone. I want to coach Mika. I want to find out what exactly the process is. Pass me the phone now.
We're getting real answers today.
Nikki, give me the phone, Daddy. Give me the phone. I want to make a call. Is the airtime here? Yeah. Okay. I know that they'll give you. What's your password again?
I hope they are. Yeah, actually, it's not yet too late to call.
No. This is my guy. Like I call, he picks up like that. Okay. So I'm not worried about the time. I'm calling him. Yeah. Just hold on. I'll put it on loud so that everyone can hear here.
Yeah, let's actually get some.
Sure.
Yeah, just hold on. Anything that's not iPhone is hard to operate. Why are you having phones like this in this house?
But in the meantime,
in the meantime, let's go.
In the meantime, we're saying the same thing. I just think we're skipping a very fundamental, very important aspect, which is people have to interact with the product first.
Yes.
I think financing is a lot easier with the backing of the people.
But we've got Chika's number here.
The reason we're currently struggling is we are trying to get financing by ourselves. We're trying to push everything by ourselves, start the distribution by ourselves, run everything by ourselves. You need to democratize a huge part of your project for you to benefit from the millions. You don't get millions of money from one source only. The best, easiest way is to increase the number of sources of your money. And the best way you can do that is by having the goodwill of the people. That's where I keep going back, because the financing will come later. What's important right now, the problem we have right now, is not enough people know anything about the movies being created, despite the people who are coming in from outside the country and financing $1 million, like in Jay-Z's situation. Not enough people are seeing those projects. Like when that movie comes out, I hope it gets to have an extended lifespan, because regardless of how it came to exist, we're still nobody's gonna see it. And that's the problem that I'm trying to solve by saying, when that movie comes out, I hope somebody leaks it somewhere where at least At some point, and I'm not saying like immediately, I'm saying like after, like maybe 3 years, let the movie come out for free. Let the movie be available on discs across every computer in Tendere, because we need people to be interacting and engaging with it. The reason things extend is people extend their lifespan. If you're watching a TV show week to week, that's why the TV series game in Zambia has done so well, is because you're top of mind. But when you release a movie, it happens once. The only way you can extend the lifespan is by having it.
Just hold on. Mapalo.
Ayanka.
Mapalo. Just hold on. This guy has picked up. Hi, Chimika. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. Okay, cool. So we are having a discussion about Zambian film, right? So I thought of who best to call but you. Bali, when you're presenting a film on Zambezi Magic, right, or on DSTV channel, what's your first step you take? Oh, but sorry. Let me tell you, you're on loud. I'll put you on loud. I'm having a discussion with a team of creatives here, so I just wanted to hear your take also on what's done first when presenting when presenting a film or anything that you that you need these guys to show. Yeah, the criteria. Yes.
Don't know if there's anything that touches the criteria. It just has to meet the standards of the station, what they want.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's to send them a pitch, and then somebody from there goes through it and whatnot, and then if they accept it, they'll call you to make it. But it's not. It seems that simple. They have a portal where you can upload the things that you want to show them. Say you've got something, either a movie or a TV series.
Okay.
Yeah. So then there's two ways. It's either you make the show yourself, and then after that try and sell it to them.
Okay.
Or you go there only with an idea and maybe a pilot that you shot, and then if they like it, they'll give you an offer.
Okay. So normally you go there with a pilot, right?
Yeah, it's an advantage. A pilot doesn't have to be there, but it's an advantage.
Okay. Yeah, because we're just bumping heads there, and we wanted to get it directly from someone like you, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thanks, bro.
Problem, guys. Anyway, I won't say much.
What? Okay. What does that mean?
No, we can move on. So we can move on. We can move on to other things.
John, we are all discussing here. We
guys,
want to know.
You made me like as if Shiniganiza, Bwanji.
No.
I'm one person who doesn't talk about things that I don't know. That's one thing you should know about me. Those who know me will tell you. I don't talk about things I don't know.
Cheating, because it sounds like again you're going on a different tangent. Did you hear what he said though?
What did he say?
He said it is preferred that you have a pilot.
Is it mandate?
He said it is preferred.
Is it mandate?
No,
that's the question I'm asking.
It's not, but it's preferred because
what gives you an advantage. Wait, it's like they are looking for an accountant.
Preferred. What does that mean, bro? If you've got two candidates and one of them has your preferred requirements, which one are you picking?
Okay, what did he say? He said it's up to you whether you want to go there with a pilot or just an idea. That's what he said. And this is exactly what I said. So where did I lie? Because the reason why we even called this guy is the fact that you guys thought that I was lying. It's the truth, guys. Come on.
Think that we are lying. We look, all of us here we are teaching. From at the end of this discussion, we are all knowing something different that we didn't know. Okay?
And my entire point has been that you are focused on a step after the most important one. You kept talking about finance.
Come on, guys, let's not act it cool. If the guy you called said otherwise, you guys were going to laughing at me. That's just the truth. No. So let's not sugarcoat things here. You guys thought that Nenzo Ganis or Nenzo Kamba Siniziva. It's the truth, guys. We are men. Let's just speak the truth.
What does that have to do with anything, John?
We are all learning. But
also, what does that have to do with anything?
Okay, let me ask this question. Why did you call the guy in the first place?
Missing the point.
I want to ask this question. Why did the other guy call the other guy? What was the main reason?
Find out what
What is the criteria?
Zambezi Magic follows when considering someone for a production, for financing of a production. Your entire point was hinged. Let me finish. Your entire point was hinged on you can find financing by going to Zambezi Magic even if you don't have a product. My entire point was have a product first.
And what did I say? I get who even brought up the issue of Zambezi? Who even brought up the issue of Zambezi, like the procedure? And you guys thought I was lying. Come on, guys. I'm not a fool. I don't talk about things that I don't know. I research. I'm one person who is good at researching. I don't talk about things that I don't know. That is something that you should know.
So, I think the conversation...
Actually, this is not even worth my time.
Like I was saying, we reached the point where the conversation is no longer productive because our guest is too focused on one very specific point of this entire conversation, and we've actually wasted quite a lot of time on that.
Anyway, we are learning. We are learning. We all got one or two things at the end of this discussion. So yeah, we on to the next one, pause.
Yeah, but I think we can even just disagree. But I think for me, the issue I kept having was bro kept ignoring the most important. Like I kept saying, get a product first, and then you can get financing. But he kept saying, no, financing, because there's no one who's going to like. Oh my God, bro.
It's what it is. Except we all think different. Yeah.
But yeah, so
this was dope, man.
Yeah, no, it was actually really dope. I've learned so much.
Yeah. No, I think, as creatives, we need such kind of platform, such kind of discussions. Like everyone there is open to have their 2 cents and whatnot. It's nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need. In fact, I think just start the trend, and just be throwing them. Maybe bi-weekly or maybe in a month. I don't know. You know what I mean? At least let's make it a trend. Just be throwing out different topics. We will follow. Some of us want to learn, bruh. This industry we're in, no one is an island, and then there's new trends happening every day. There's something new that's happening. So some of us who are interested to learn and to follow, I will definitely jump on it and will be happy to explain.
No, I think for a start, we can meet up next week's time. We'll discuss something else, but in terms of this particular topic, thank you everyone for coming through. I really, really appreciate it. Let's give Director Tido a moment to actually wrap up. Let's give him.
Yeah, please, Director Tido.
No, guys. Why would you give me a moment to wrap up? I mean, I only have a few words, and those words I'm actually addressing Mapalo, because when I commented on his video earlier, he let me know about this live, and if he did not respond to my comment, I wouldn't have known, and I would have missed this. And trust me, this was very educative. Like, I've learned so much. There are a few things that I did not know, but now I know. I mean, other than that, thank you so very much. And I agree with Nick. Just make this a trend. Just do this often. We'll always be joining for some of us. We love these discussions. We've been praying for a platform like this where we can just have these arguments. It's very beneficial to us creatives. So just
Thank you. It's actually necessary. In fact, I think arguing is just part of the process. In fact, it's part of the brainstorming. It's how we solve most campaigns. Start with 2 people on opposite sides disagreeing very, very passionately about something. So I hope to continue having more of these. We will push for another one next week. I am hoping the ones in the future we can stay on topic and try and get through. I will figure out how this thing works. But thank you so much everyone for coming through. Tectonic, thank you so much. Josh was here. I know my business partner was here. Otelo was here. Thank you everyone. We will have another one next week. Thank you for coming.
Cheers,
sure thing, bro. All right. Good night.
All right.
Easy.